To the Middle East, and several Israeli strikes have rocked central and southern Beirut. Lebanese civil defense officials say at least 11 people were killed in an overnight attack on the city center that flattened a residential building. Israel's military said it was targeting Hezbollah militants.
An Israeli strike at the heart of Lebanon's capital. It's 4 a.m. on a weekend and most of the people in this residential area are asleep. Shortly after the explosion, first responders rush to the site. They find an 8-floor house destroyed and neighboring buildings damaged.
The strike happened and then a second strike, and we didn't understand what happened. There were just wrecked houses, people running and screaming.
This man's loved ones are among many people who were wounded in the strike. They were taken to nearby hospitals.
This is the little one, and my son also got hurt. This is my daughter. She's in the American University Hospital.
The strike is Israel's fourth on central Beirut in a week. It's been mostly targeting southern suburbs of the capital, a Hezbollah stronghold. In September, Israel stepped up its offensive against the militant group, killing several top officials, including its leader, Hassan Nasrallah. Lebanon's health officials say more than 3,600 people were killed and more than 1 million displaced by the fighting.
DW Beirut Bureau Chief Mohammad Shrete is in central Beirut at the scene of the attack.
So basically, soon after the American Special Envoy Amos Hochstein left Beirut earlier this week, Israel launched new waves of airstrikes on the southern suburbs of Beirut, but also in central Beirut. I am here in the Basta neighborhood that has been heavily hit by an Israeli airstrike overnight. At least 11 people have been killed and more than 60 injured, according to the Lebanese civil defense. Rescuers, as you can see behind me, are still working to retrieve bodies and victims from under the rubble. At least one residential building have been completely destroyed, turned into rubble, but several other buildings in the surrounding are heavily damaged. This has caused the displacement of more people overnight. This airstrike comes without previous warning by Israel, and it seems to be another assassination for a Hezbollah senior figure. Now, we've been hearing names of senior officials, Hezbollah senior officials in the media, but there's no confirmation of who has been targeted here and about his fate from the armed group yet.
And of course, this wasn't the only strike overnight. Early in the morning, there were more hitting other parts of Beirut. Mohammed, what can you tell us about those?
So yeah, this is horrifying. People are really losing the sense of safety here in Beirut and its surrounding area as more strikes hit the southern suburbs of Beirut, but also in central Beirut. People here in this neighborhood and the surrounding neighborhoods woke up to extremely heavy bombardment. Very loud booms were heard overnight in the early hours of the morning, and people woke up to check on themselves, check on their relatives, hoping that these strikes did not hit or kill any of their relatives or friends. This has caused the displacement here in this neighborhood and the surrounding of thousands last night in the early hours of the morning. And, many of them have been already displaced multiple times as they come from the southern suburbs of Beirut and towns in southern Lebanon. So it's certainly a terrible time for Lebanese and to citizens in Beirut as well.
Right, DW Beirut Bureau Chief Mohammad Shrete, thank you so very much. Let's take a look at some of the other stories making headlines around the world. Civil defense officials in Gaza say at least 19 people have been killed in Israeli attacks overnight. At least 6 were killed in a strike on a tent camp near the southern city of Khan Younis. Several casualties were also reported after a house was hit in Gaza City's Zaytun neighborhood. Israel says it's been targeting Hamas militants. Several pro-Palestinian groups have asked a court in The Hague to block the Netherlands from exporting weapons to Israel. Their lawyers argued the Dutch state was doing too little to prevent what they called genocide in Gaza. Israel has rejected such accusations and says it is targeting Hamas terrorists. A decision is expected in 3 weeks.